What's up, guys, and welcome to my second podcast. It's FPL discussions here, or Ollie, and I'm joined by the one and only at CaptainFPL, or Jack. How are we doing, Jack?
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Actually, I love doing these podcasts. I actually love them. So let's crack on with it. Let's go.
Right, we're not playing about social medias at CaptainFPL or at FPL discussion. Yeah, right. We're going to get straight into it with a little bit of strikers. So we're going to start with the premium. Well, first of all, let me just give you a few stats. Very basic stats that anyone can access. This year, Aguero is the most expensive striker at 12 mil. Then you've got Kane and Aubameyang in at 11 mil. Lacazette, 9.5 mil. Few reclassifications. Jota and Deulofeu both coming in as strikers, 6.5 mil. And Jimenez and Wilson, the big jumpers. Jimenez 7.5, Wilson 8. Just a little few basic things. Top scorers last year were Aubameyang 205, then Aguero 201, and Jimenez at 181. So yeah, that's just sort of little things there. We're gonna start with the premium strikers, and I'm not going to an individual player. I'm talking about just premium strikers in general. I haven't got any in my team right now. Do you think it's worth getting a premium striker?
It's annoying because I keep doing, redrafts, and I keep getting closer and closer to Harry Kane. He's constantly so at the moment. I mean, I have got. I think when this podcast comes out, I have done my first draft, but I have updated my team, and now have Vardy and Wilson as my two strikers. So the good thing with that is it means I can stretch to Harry Kane. If say he starts the season on fire, obviously he has that August curse thing for some reason he just can't shake off. So
he did last, didn't he?
Yeah, probably right at the end. But I mean, it wasn't perfect. So I think they are very expensive. I think all the value is just in that midfield. So I think what you class as premium, if we're saying 10 million and above,
I would probably just say the three: Kane, Aubameyang, and
Aguero. Yeah, I think I'd avoid them for the start. Just see how that goes, really.
And then Jimenez, more Vardy and Wilson I find awkward. Vardy, again, unless he has a mad preseason, I'm probably going to wait and see. Whereas Wilson, I did a video on him, or I mentioned him and King yesterday, and the more I looked into it, and I realised Wilson is he's got something like the fourth highest points per match.
Yeah.
And he just is better than King. He just is. It's not really up for debate. He played a lot less games. Well, not a lot, but a few less games. Scores more, better conversion rate. All the stats are in his favour except for penalties. And I worry we're kind of thinking too much into VAR. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure what will happen is I think everyone will go for King. And Wilson will start on fire. Then we'll all switch to Wilson.
Yeah.
And it is very hard to predict, but for me, I'm trying to find ways to get Wilson. I think he's just worth it. Yeah. I really don't think Penn's going to be as big as everyone's expecting. There will be some more, but I don't know. I'm tempted to try and get Wilson in. But besides that, I do agree the value's in midfield, but it is quite awkward to then upgrade from, for me, King to Kane, because I'm, 5.5 million or whatever? Or 4.5, whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then the only way I can do that without taking a hit, say, come the start of the season, would be to get rid of, I think, only Salah and Sterling in my team would allow me to do that. And that's why it's nice to have those expensive players like Kane, because you can just downgrade, whereas it's very hard to upgrade when you haven't really.
But go back to Vardy. Obviously, Tielemans is now signed for them, and when he came in, I mean, Vardy was like a changed player, and I think Leicester.
I think that was Rodgers as a whole. To be fair,
yeah, exactly. But I think Vardy, with Tielemans in there as well, Maddison, Gray, Barnes, all of those Leicester players in that creative midfield, I think he could get a lot of points. So he's not leaving my squad. Definitely not. He's definitely not leaving my squad.
I wouldn't be surprised if by the start of game week 1 he is in my team, because I'm looking at the fixtures. They've got Wolves home, Chelsea away, Sheffield United away, Bournemouth home. They're quite tasty. But the thing is, we don't know what Chelsea we're going to get this year. Anyway, that's all I wanted to really touch on premiums. Probably for now, try not to get too caught up with the names. But the price point, which I am, and a lot of people are intrigued by, and I quite like list. It's the 6.5 million strikers.
Yeah.
The top scoring 6.5 million strikers last year, in order, were King, then Jota, then Delafeu, then Wood, then Murray, then Barnes, Deeney, and so on. Now, for me, I'm tossing and turning between King, Jota, and Delafeu to take up 2 spots. I'm sitting on King and Delafeu, but Jota is a very tempting treat. And I do like the price point because if you pick the wrong one, it's quite easy to switch.
Exactly, yeah.
Even with price rises, there'll only be 0.1 or 2 million in it. So that is a good thing about it. But it also is a bit of a pain to get it wrong.
Exactly.
How many 6.5s have you got or none?
Well, I did have a King, but now I actually don't have any 6.5s. But if I was to pick one out of the 3 that you named, ooh, I would say Delafeu.
Yeah.
Because obviously he hasn't got Europa League, and I think also there's a big rumor. I don't know how real it is, but that Diego Costa might be signing for Wolves, and that might affect Jota.
Really, that is a mad one.
If that happens, then FPL teams are going out the window because it'll be mental.
No one else. He'd put a bit out of nowhere. What do you reckon his price would be? I'd say about 8 would be fair. But
8 mil, 8.5 maybe.
Yes, wait and see.
Yeah,
so Delafeu has Brighton at home, then he goes to Everton, then back at home for West Ham, and then goes to Newcastle. I quite like them fixtures. I just think they're quite. I mean, Everton's the only really tough one because I just think Newcastle, especially if they get Steve Bruce or whatever, I just don't think they're going to be that good. And I think that whole thing where Newcastle away was a bit of a crappy fixture, I think that's going to go away. So I don't know. I just really like him, but I don't know what it is. And I also think, and I said this, I think I said this in my video, I can't remember. And I did mention it there. If you do get the wrong one, you can switch. So I quite like the idea of going with a differential. So right now, Delafeu's got 14% ownership, which I'd say is fairly low. Jota's 12% and King 20. So it's clear King's the popular one.
Yeah.
So if you go with Jota Delafeu, not that many people have got him, really. So I just think if you do get the wrong one, it's not that hard to switch. But then, if I get Delafeu in and he does what he did at Cardiff last year and just gets a hat trick within the first 3, I'm laughing. I'm flying up the ranks. So I would say it's one I'm trying not to overthink too much, but I can't help but overthink it, and it's very close. And I could be easily swayed by a preseason goal or I don't know.
Okay, and then let's move. I want to look at the promoted clubs and their strikers because out of interest, obviously, I would advise, and you probably do the same, just to maybe stay clear of the promoted clubs. Maybe between the first 5 and 10 games. But 2 players I've got my eye on is Billy Sharp at Sheffield United. He got 23 goals in 40 games and 4 assists for Sheffield last season in the Championship, and also Timu Pucky, who's for a promoted player, 6.5% ownership is not that bad. And he got 29 goals and 10 assists in 43 games. It's a very good output. Now, obviously, can they convert it into the Premier League? What do you think?
I'm again. I mentioned this in my video. Feel free to check it out, people. I'm not even. I think last year Wolves were a bit of an anomaly because they had a lot of players that were way too good for the Championship. They spent all that money and they were just too good for the Championship. So it was a bit different them coming up. The likes of Jimenez, Neves, Moutinho, Jota, Patricia, they were too good for the Championship.
Yeah.
So it made sense to maybe get one of them. A lot of people got Jota at the start of last year, and then people went to Jimenez around the 5 or 6 game weeks in, and he just went on a mad one.
Yeah.
And I just think none of them have. I guess Villa's fixtures are quite nice, and I know people like Grealish and whatnot, but Grealish for starters is not really an FPL player. He won't get that many goals and assists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pookie, or whatever his name is, I wouldn't be shocked if he flops at the Prem. He might do well, but there are a lot of players that do well in the Championship, then fail. I remember, I think it was like Ebanks something for Wolves was like that. He was a ridiculous Championship player, scored like 2 Prem goals. I just think with them, you're better off waiting and seeing how they do. None of them have such good fixtures, such good prices where you have to jump on that. I know a few people like Mings, but again, I'd just wait and see.
Yeah, you got to wait and see. Definitely.
It's not like they're going to have like 50% ownership where you can't miss out on it. You might as well, I think you get proven players that have got
Mhm.
points before, and then at the start, when you don't know the form players, pick those players that you know can get points.
Mhm.
So you just get started, get some points going early, and then you can start going for those players that have the fixtures in a bit of form, and that's when
Exactly.
you
Yep.
get someone like Pookie or Billy Sharp. So that's what I would advise there.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
agree.
that is enough striker talk.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a certain defence. This is the Liverpool defence because no one seems to know who to go for.
Yeah.
Now, I'm currently sitting on Van Dijk and Trent,
Mhm.
and someone made the point. It doesn't. Everyone's doubling up, and they seem to pick Van Dijk. But in some ways, I think I'm very tempted just to get both the fullbacks in because they are
Ooh. Yeah.
for point 0.5 more. You could be getting an assist more every
Yeah.
couple of games. Have you got any in?
I have got Robertson, but my only hesitation with doubling up is that last season, I think I can't remember when I got Addison in. I had Robertson from the start, but when I got Addison in, and I had obviously two Liverpool defensive assets. When you get the clean sheet, happy days. But when you don't get the clean sheet, I got punished by other people in my mini league, so they would only have one of the
Yeah.
Liverpool defenders, and they would obviously do better with that. So I think for this season, and what I'm going to try and do is just pick one defender from like each, well, from a team. So let's say one Liverpool defender, one City defender, and just see how it goes. And if I feel that they are or they go on. I think Liverpool have got a really good fixture run. What was it from game week 13 to game week 21? So like around there, I would probably then think, I might double up then because I can see them getting a clean sheet every single game they play. So yeah,
I know what you mean. I mean, you're looking at the fixtures, and Norwich at home, you're pretty confident of a clean sheet there. Southampton, I think they'd get one.
yeah,
And I know there's a lot of games where they might, and the thing is, this always happens. People always start big at the back, and they're like, "We'll get the clean sheets, jump on City and Liverpool." And then as game week one gets closer, people start going to that 3-4-3 that always ends up being what everyone
yeah.
goes for. So I'm sitting on two right now. I'm not. There's a chance I end up with two, and it's Robertson and Trent. There's a chance I end up with just one. And if it is just one, so you're saying Robertson,
hmm
why would you go Robertson over Trent?
Purely because of the rotation risk. So I think Alberto Moreno's gone to Villarreal. I think literally yesterday got confirmed. So unless Liverpool don't sign another left back, Robertson's the only left back they have. And I think that Trent, as I said in our last podcast, he will when the Champions League comes in, because I think Klopp will be very keen to win that. Then we might see Joe Gomez play in the Premier League games just before the Champions League midweek ones, and so Trent will get rested, which I think would be quite annoying for managers. So I think if I go Robertson, because I stuck with him last season, he was absolutely brilliant. He'll do the same this season.
Yeah, I mean, I do just think though, the Champions League doesn't start till like October, isn't it? And you just think,
hmm
looking at these fixtures, I'm just gonna give you the number of like for the date, and it's 9th, 17th, 24th, 31st. I just think there's no need to rotate that. You have a week off. There
Yeah,
might be
true.
Carabao Cup in there somewhere, but I just think I'm tempted because everyone's always wild cards quite early. I'm quite tempted to get the two wing backs, and then when it feels like Champions League's coming around, then switch to Van Dijk on
Yeah,
Trent. So
that's a
I'm
good shout.
tempted to start with both of them,
hmm
but it's very hard to upgrade in this team.
Yeah, that's
Maybe I'll
true.
maybe I'll make the first ever podcast transfer. That would be something special.
Yeah, that would be something.
Um. So yeah, but there's not really a bad option, and I would just say to anyone who's trying to be cheeky and get Gomez or Matip, just don't bother.
No, no.
It's such a good defense, you might as well go premium, and those three get a lot of attacking returns for
Oh
a
yeah,
defender.
yeah.
Next thing we get on to is the hellhole of goalkeepers, and I've been enlightened by a potential rotation pair
Oh,
because
do tell, do tell.
I believe Aston Villa have signed or are close to signing Tom Heaton.
Thomas
So,
Heaton, yes, I know.
so Pope. I know some people said get Villa at keepers, but no, not. I'll wait and see. Actually, I haven't thought about that. Anyway, I'm gonna go Matt Ryan for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I quite like the sound of a Matt Ryan and Nick Pope rotation.
Yeah,
So
I
let me
agree.
talk you through it. Let me talk you through it.
Mhm.
Game week 1, you get home to Southampton, and that's with Nicholas Pope. Then game week 2 and 3, you go to Brighton, where you get home to West Ham and home to Southampton,
Yeah.
which I would say is a pretty tasty treat. Game week 4 is the only week where it doesn't work because you have either,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
believe it's away to City or home to Liverpool. So that is the only problem. Game week 4 doesn't work.
Yeah.
And game week 5, they play each other, so you probably go for the home team. Game week 6, you can get home to Norwich.
Yeah.
Game week 7, you can get Villa away, but again, that's not a bad game. It's just that's 7 weeks of quite nice fixtures, and you get home game against Everton, Villa away again.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
It's
nice.
quite sort of they're just for what you can get. I think they're quite nice fixtures.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's the only one I found where I quite like the look of. Where there's only 1 week where I'm like not that confident.
Yeah, that's game week 4. So apart from that, pretty nice. Just to start the season, because I think well, wildcard probably around between game week 4 and game week 6, 7, and then
There's an international break early on. It's normally 4.
okay,
That
well,
is normally when everyone whips out the wild cards.
yeah,
So if you do have a stinker, never fear.
the wild card is here.
The wild card is back in your back pocket. So that is one thing I would. I mean, I don't know. It's just sort of something I think I'm gonna give a little shout out here to Ali. He was talking to me about Burnley keepers, and the more I look at it, the more I like it. So
Yeah. Oh, voice break.
so again, if they look good in preseason tells all, then I may just hop on that bandwagon. But I don't know. What is you're the man in the know because you've been doing all your YouTube videos at Captain FPL.
What with the keeper situation?
Yeah.
Well,
Have you got a conclusion following your videos on?
yeah. I pretty much I said that I feel that with this current setup of the huge value in the defense and the midfield, although having a premium keeper is nice because you could often are guaranteed a clean sheet, I think there's I think try and keep your budget to like between 8.5 and 9 million. So I said of the premium keepers, I would pick either Addison, Edison, or Pickford because I think Pickford, Everton look quite solid, and he saves penalties, which with
Yeah.
VAR could be quite good.
Hmm.
But I said if you're moving down the line with the cheaper keepers, as we said, the Pope Ryan rotation is one of my favourite ones I think at the moment. And I quite like the look of Gaita once Crystal Palace the injuries clear up because
Yeah, they
they
have
got
nice fixtures. That's what I've been looking at
yeah
PVA. But the
yeah
issue is if Zaha goes, then they are going to just have to sit in and defend. And
exactly
I wouldn't trust Mohamedou or whatever Saku
yeah
to save that.
no definitely. So I think I mean yeah Palace's fixtures are nice to start with. So from like game week 1 to 4, but they have a lot of red between I think 6 to 8 is quite nice, but then 9 to 13 is a horrible run. So you stick with the Palace keeper to start with, or you wait until the
Oh,
fixtures clear up around game week 14. Yeah,
is he 5 mil?
it is 5
Yeah, I
mils. I
think
think it's
if
quite
I'm
a
going to
lot.
go 5 mil, set and forget, I'd go Fabianski.
Yeah,
Proven saves. You just have to get past Man City, and then it's quite nice.
yeah.
What about premium? I've actually got a thing where I think I'm going to rotate and save the money to start with. Well, while we don't know who's going to be as good, you never know. Liverpool might just struggle this year, and City might struggle defensively.
Never know.
But then I think on wildcard, I'm keen to then get a set and forget because you may miss out on 0.5. But last year, if you look, the rotation pairs that everyone went for, they don't outscore the premium goalkeeper. So if you can spend that bit more money, I'm actually quite keen to get someone like Allison or Edison.
It's a peace of mind, isn't it? I guess end of the day.
Yeah, and you can just sit there and it's always really crap when you have somewhere like home to Norwich and the other one's away to City, and one of them, and it's always the one you bench gets like
Yeah.
8 points and you get the 0.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe that's just. But like, I mean, I'm looking at say Liverpool. You mentioned it earlier, that 13 to 21. You could, and even then they have 2 tough fixtures, and they have some like 8 more really nice ones. That's like what, almost 20. It's like 18 game weeks
Yeah,
roughly.
exactly.
Now you just think you just stick Allison in, you don't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
Is it
think I
getting?
think I think let's say conclusion is start the season with cheap goalkeepers, and then when you wildcard probably around the international break, then look to maybe bring in a set and forget just for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, decent.
I also want to talk about, because we talked about this in the last podcast. We're not going to go into captaincy much, but you're going Sterling and Salah, aren't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm
And
not mucking around to the start of the season. I think it's got to be you pick the 2 biggest players
yeah.
and just stick with them.
And also, yeah, if one of them does a madness and you don't have them and everyone's captaining them.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would also say to people that play competitively like us, when you're trying to climb the ranks, you start safe, I would say, keep up with everyone, and then maybe I don't know, game week 10, if you start slipping, then maybe if you want and there's no clear captain, that's when you could switch it up. But for the start of the season, not West Ham, Man City and Liverpool have a pretty nice rotating fixtures where I would be pretty confident captaining one of them two every week. And yeah, Salah is pretty much already now as my game week 1 captain.
Oh yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
for those who haven't
definitely.
seen, Mane is still in the AFCON, Salah is out, more rest.
Hmm.
It's got to be. Again, check my last video, Salah versus Mane, but Salah's looking pretty tasty.
Definitely.
I think actually Mane is playing today, so that'll be interesting.
There you
But
go.
by
But
the time this goes out, Mane's either in the semis or he's out. We will see. Right, next thing we want to get onto is some new transfers. We've obviously seen there's been a few transfers recently since the last podcast. I don't even think Ndombele had happened when we recorded the last.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
So I'm going to give you a name, and you just
Okay.
tell me
All right.
yes or maybe, and we'll go from there. All
Okay.
right. So we'll start
Yeah.
with, as I said, Ndombele.
No for your teams, but yes for other Spurs attacking assets.
Ooh,
Because
tell me.
if he comes in, he's often been a very creative force in a sort of a holding, more reserved midfield role, and I feel that he can push the likes of Son, Kane, Ericsson, whoever it is, and deliver supply them with the assist or like the pre-assist and get the goals. So I think he'll actually, although he'll be like kind of like a Bernardo Silva but with less points from last season.
Yeah.
He'll be the one that creative force but won't get the points as such.
It will get
Yeah.
goals here and there, but it's like Kante. You might get lucky and get one goal, but
Yes,
I
exactly.
would avoid. He's a good player, but he's not a good fantasy football player.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Jay Rodriguez join Burnley quite recently.
Yeah.
He's at 6 million, but I'm not really too tempted. Although I'm tempted by a midfielder who goes by the name of Yuri Tielemans.
Oof.
6.5 million, and that Leicester midfield I want to get into. I'm also going to put Perez in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What you've got to say it's quite a tempting little midfield they've got over there at Leicester.
Yeah, I think I genuinely think they're going to challenge that top 6. I
Yeah,
really do.
I would agree with you. I
Yeah.
think they've got Madison at 7 and Tielemans at Perez at 6.5.
Yeah.
The only worry that is I always just feel like when there's a lot of good midfielders at same price, you just worry you're going to get the wrong one. So I
Mhm.
might start with one.
Yeah.
And I'd probably go Perez if he looks like he's
Yeah, I
quite
would.
recent.
Yeah,
I think he'll come in the team for Harvey Barnes. I can't see who else he'd come in for. Maybe Damari Gray.
yeah. He's not really been a solid starter in that team. I think. Well,
But
if we think about it, so Rodgers plays what, a 4-2-3-1 with Tielemans and Ndidi as the holding midfielders. So with Vardy up top, you would imagine it would be Madison,
Perez and one more.
Perez, and one more. So yeah, out of Barnes or Gray, and that would probably be rotated. But looks like a great start. I think if they can keep Maguire as well, they've got Pereira, Chilwell, Maguire, and Evans as well. Schmeichel and goal. It's a solid team. Like it's a really good team.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to see who does well in pre-season. I might go for. I'm tempted by Perez. I can't lie, because Tielemans. I've always thought it was a bit deep for me to be tempted to get him in my team. Although he did actually do very well last year. Whereas if Perez, I know him. He's played as a striker. So if he can sort of have a good pre-season with those okay fixtures, and he's not as expensive as Vardy, so it's not too bad if he doesn't start that well. I'm going to be tempted here, and you wouldn't be surprised to see them kick on towards that top 6. Because I think Wolves are going to struggle this year, and I think Everton and Leicester, there's a definite chance to break into that top 6, with Arsenal being Arsenal, and Chelsea.
The new manager, obviously.
Yeah, so you don't know how they're going to do. I'm quite tempted by both of them. I've seen a couple transfers I went through yesterday that Mings. We sort of mentioned this earlier. Quite a few people quite tempted by that. Do you have any temptations?
I mean, yeah, he's got aerial threat. We can definitely say that from set pieces and for goals. But I think the Villa defence, much like the Norwich defence, I just don't trust it at the moment. They weren't keeping unlike Sheffield United, who kept 21 clean sheets in the Championship. And I think Norwich got like 13, and I think Villa may have got the same or slightly less. So I think I'm going to stay clear for the moment, but he might become a gem. There's a thing you have to wait. He might become a cheap defender. We all got to get in. So
yeah, it sounds good. And then last player I want to touch on, because he's actually in my team, and he goes by the name of Wilfried Zaha, and I'm quite tempted by him. 7 mil midfielder, fixtures of Everton, Sheffield United, Man United, and Villa. If he goes to Arsenal, are you more or less tempted?
See, on paper, you think Palace are more defensive and Arsenal more attacking. So you would think Zaha going to Arsenal would boost his potential. But at Palace, he is the talisman. He's their main player. I think Arsenal, obviously, they've already got Aubameyang and Lacazette, so he might get lost in that. And obviously, when he was at United, he got lost a bit. I think came back to Palace, refound himself. So if he goes to Arsenal, to another big club, do you think he might regress again? I'm not sure. So I think if he stays at Palace, definitely. If he goes to Arsenal, it would be a wait and see. And also because Emery loves a bit of rotation, so you can't predict it.
I hope he stays at Palace, because if he does, I think he'll be in a lot more teams. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him move. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything on the list I wanted to go through.
Yeah.
We are doing another podcast on CaptainFPL or Jack's channel. What are we talking about on your one, Jack? Just so the people know.
Just so obviously leave a little link in the description to jump to it. We're going to be talking about our predictions for the Premier League table. Now, obviously, it's not like directly FPL, but it's indirectly about FPL. Obviously, the time of recording it, 10th of July, there's literally been, I think, 2 pre-season games, but nothing's really been shown.
There's only so much FPL you can talk.
Exactly. So this is just a bit of fun.
I could talk FPL for a long time.
Exactly. I was say, yeah. This is just like a different kind of video where we can just see let's see. We can do our viewpoints for the start, before pre-season and the start of the season, and then we can see what the end result is at the end of the season and see how close we were.
Nice. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up. It's about half an hour, so that's a nice little
lovely
podcast. I'll get this on the channel. I think Sunday we're going to go for. So yeah, thank you for listening. Get out the Instagram at FPL Discussions, on Twitter at DiscussionsFPL and at CaptainFPL. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.